Good morning and welcome to JustPick, your one-click solution, presented by Team 1.
Picture the scene. It's 9:30 p.m. and you're flicking through Netflix. But instead of choosing something, you just keep flicking away. So you try and shake things up.
Should we try Prime?
But you still can't decide which critically acclaimed prestige drama your friends keep telling you to watch.
May I please take your order?
Your pick, the one-click solution. OnePick is an AI solution that is connected to all the elements of your life via IoT devices. This includes your wearables, your smartphone, your social media, your communication, and all other hardware. We analyze this data and use it to determine your emotional state and stress levels. Via pre-selected options and further through machine learning, use your ratings and previous selections during similar emotional states and stress. JustPick, your one-click solution to watch and to eat.
For any business idea, be it a startup or a startup within a corporation, or when you want to launch a specific new product, identifying your customer segments is probably the most important prerequisite in your strategy. And as you can see here, we have identified 9 different personas for JustPick. And these personas have been identified based on how can we collect data and from the external factors that is linked to those personas in the workforce or in their day-to-day lives. So the first persona we want to identify here are personas in the workforce, which are basically employees of any age and working in any industry you can think about. And we're talking about people with families, married people, people with 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, you name it. We're talking about people from any gender. And mainly the persona targeting when we first launched JustPick are targeting ages of 21 to 65. And mind you that if we were to target at first an initial phase ages of 21 to 65, that doesn't mean we won't even target a bigger age group, but that is only the second phase of our business. And we're looking at people that are active on social media. You know, today everyone, mostly everyone, they are very vocal on social, whether watching content, posting content, sharing what they're thinking, sharing what they want to eat, taking a picture of where they traveled, and so on and so forth. To continue, our 2 key personas we want to target as well are C-level people and mid to seniors managers. And as you can see, those 2 personas are very crucial for JustPick because you can imagine the stress level around the C-level people and around the mid to senior managers. You can think about mid to senior managers have a long way to go when it comes to proving themselves, even to get promoted. They have targets, they have a team to manage, and C-level people have a bigger responsibility to manage. And accordingly, there's a lot of factors we can collect and data we can collect out of those behaviors from those 2 personas that's going to feed in JustPick. And of course, we want to target people that own and use smart devices. And finally, the last persona we want to target are suppliers from the B2B business, because that is a persona which can highly benefit from JustPick for promotional purposes and for advertising purposes. At JustPick, we thought of 2 channels to collect the data, starting with an app, and that app is installed on wearables, on phones, on tablets, on laptops, and any hardware device that is able to collect data from those personas. So you can think about any hardware that you use and that you interact and use that hardware. We will be able, using that software, to collect any behavior, any reaction, any input that you do on those hardware, and accordingly interpret the data, analyze the data, and be able to give recommendations to our services based on the input data to that app. But for those that don't have any wearables or any tablets, for instance, or not an advanced smartphone, there's also a website that is mobile friendly as well. That we're able to track users through the website with an audience extension. And that audience extension, using first-party data, will be able to follow and track users based on the content they read, the content that they watch, and the content that they actually interact with online. And accordingly, take that data, analyze it, interpret it into our JustPick platform. Using AI and machine learning algorithms, we'll be able to analyze and interpret data and accordingly propose the relevant suggestions.
Customer service and key resources that is needed in our brainstorming session of creating an IoT product that is called JustPick. All right, and I'll go straight to the customer service. As we all know, when starting out on any business, customer service is very key. And from our brainstorming session, we have clearly identified areas where there needs customer service. For the JustPick app, we are going to be serving directly to the customer, which is more likely like a business to consumer scenario. We're going to be measuring, monitoring, and analyzing customer intimacy, because that's what the app and the software is going to be doing. It's also an avenue to create a personal assistance to the users, and of course, for all that to be enforced, we need to have an effective, real-time, 24/7 customer service to help create and help users to have the right customer experience. Okay, and based on the design and some of the extra revenue that we are looking at, it will also mean that we also have B2B customers, talking about brands that is going to be placing adverts and all that on there. So these are some of the things that we consider for customer service. Thank you. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is about the key metrics or key resources that is needed in making this business kick off. At our brainstorming session, we identify, of course, the normalcy of having a proper human resources in place. Talking about we need people who have a knowledge of the IoT business, key. We need people who have the knowledge of the big data and artificial intelligence. We need people who have the knowledge of app development. So people is key to any business. We also need finances. We're going to fund the project. We're going to fund the app development. We're going to fund all the research and development that needs to be done. And of course, when the business take off, the revenue management, that needs to be key. So that is a key resource that we need to put in place. We also have business partners that we need to employ and engage with in the course of launching out the product. Brands will be talking about advertising and in-app advertising, and all that needs to be there. Of course, we need to patent it. We need to have copyright in place to ensure that we are protected, the business is protected. And of course, we need to talk about the physical. IoT involves having a physical edge, the sensor development, the wearables and connectivity, all has to be considered. Thank you.
JustPick has the following cost structures. The first being data costs from sensor manufacturers. The second, research and development costs. The third, advertising, which will be a key to the success. The fourth, general admin and sales. The fifth, employee salaries. Sixth, data streaming and hosting.
Inevitably, there are challenges with innovative businesses. First and foremost, cybersecurity. A significant challenge as there will be more data and devices. The more valuable the data is, the more likely to be attacked. Second, there is challenge with privacy. Knowing the data of decision making can be valuable. At the same time, it can be invasion of privacy if it is not managed carefully. Third, challenges with the government and the regulations. A challenge already mentioned earlier will involve government and regulations. Moreover, there may need for adjustment with each country or regions in the businesses.
JustPick, your one-click solution, presented by Team 1. We thank you for listening to us and we welcome any questions.